What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Godsey for Justin Godsey TV. Thank you so much for checking out tonight's video. As you guys can see, rocking the All-Star Game shirt from a couple of years ago when the All-Star Game was here in Arizona. I was there. It's my backyard. Love Phoenix. Love the Phoenix area. Love going downtown every single day that I have the chance to go down there and podcast sometimes. So I pre-recorded a couple of podcasts I'm going to be uploading here just to the YouTube account here within the next couple of days. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Also, make sure you guys click that that drop down bar for the information in the description box. There you will find a lot of my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go follow me on social media. You guys will get 24/7 sports coverage, sports news, rumors, and updates. I am just going completely, ham on the sports coverage because this is what I want to do. I want to come on here, be a professional, and really talk some football with you guys. So as you guys can see by today's video, yes, we are talking about my favorite team, the San Diego Chargers. I'm probably going to end up doing this on a weekly basis, but then again, I will cover the games of the week on Monday and on Sunday night. So we'll get into the Sunday night game here in a little bit, and let's get right into my San Diego Chargers. Like I said, I'm not going to be biased towards the San Diego Chargers. This is not a game where we did too well in, but you know what? The San Diego Chargers entering this game has a 5-game winning streak. Entering the game, they are 5-1. The Kansas City Chiefs are kind of struggling a little bit. They are 2-3 entering San Diego. Kansas City has not won in San Diego since 2007, so they're coming in here with a whole new look into the team. If you guys remember last year, I think it was week 16 or 17, the San Diego Chargers took on the Kansas City Chiefs, and this time the Kansas City Chiefs have all their starters in. Last year, if you guys remember, it was Niall Davis, it was Chase Daniel, even their backups. For San Diego starters, they were really all over the field, and it was really hard to keep them at a neutral base, not on on an attacking basis. And San Diego tonight was just nothing was going great from them. Their defense was just on the field. Kansas City was on the field for very well close to over the 35-minute mark, and possibly getting really close into pushing the 40s. San Diego could not get onto the field. Their offense was not at 100% today. Phillip Rivers, this was one of those games where okay, we're 5-2, but will 5-2 really hurt us? I don't think so. Next week, or this upcoming week, or on Thursday night, we're going to be taking on the Denver Broncos, and we're in danger of falling to 5-3. This is not where San Diego wants to be. But when you look into this game, the San Diego Chargers had no help on defense. Even what they have on the defensive side of the ball, they don't have the depth at the cornerback position. They were blown in coverage all day. They were losing their the men they were covering, guys like Chris Davis, Richard Marshall at times. There was a lot of mistakes on the Chargers defensive side of the ball. They lost Jason Verrett for this game. Jason Verrett, I think he can be a very, he could have been into the NFL talks for MVP of the year, or for Rookie of the Year, on the Defensive Rookie of the Year, because when you really look at it, you look at all the tight coverage he's been playing for San Diego. He's done a great job. He has held down guys like Larry Fitzgerald. We saw him play with Larry Fitzgerald in the first week of the season. So if you look into that, he's shut him now. You look into the Raiders game, and now when you look into the past over the past couple of weeks, Jason Verrett has now been slightly sliding out of the defensive MVP race, because he's a kind of cornerback that will play one week, that will have some sort of small injury. The next he'll sit out, and then he'll play again, then he'll sit out, and then for this week for the San Diego Chargers, he sat out again. So San Diego was without Jason Verrett tonight, so they really had to dig deep into their depth. So you had Chris Davis. If you guys remember who Chris Davis is from Auburn, and when they defeated the Alabama Crimson Tide, remember that that punt return and kick return for a touchdown, which got Auburn the win over Alabama. So he made his way to the San Diego Chargers. He was an undrafted free agent on the practice squad. They signed him off the practice squad to add depth. Now later on in the game, Brandon Flowers went down with an injury. He has a concussion. I doubt that he'll end up playing against the Denver Broncos. He was playing. It was very emotional from what we have heard. It was very emotional because this was his former team. He played 6 years for the Kansas City Chiefs. He couldn't win. Him and the Kansas City Chiefs, while they were playing, they just couldn't win the big one. They had a lot of falling out with the Matt Castle situation. Changing quarterbacks, changing head coaches, and there was just a whole lot. And Kansas City has been plagued, but Brandon Flowers decided to move on. He comes to San Diego. He's done a great job for us. But it was just a couple of drives into the game, into the first quarter. Brandon Flowers checked checks himself out. He does have a concussion, and he is doubtful for this upcoming Thursday night for Thursday Night Football on NFL Network and on CBS Sports Network for the game against the Denver Broncos, taking on the Denver Broncos, who were just incredibly great this year. Great job for them turning their season around after they lost to Seattle. But when it comes to the playing time, the Kansas City Chiefs on the other side of the ball, they completely dominated San Diego. San Diego could not get off on third down to save their life. Their defense couldn't even get off the field. Their defense was just, it seemed like, when you look at the past game, San Diego's offense was always on the field. But now it was today that the Kansas City Chiefs used, the Chargers' own, their ways to win against them. San Diego's offense was always on the field. Chargers' defense was always consistent, in the games past. But now that, you cannot count out the Kansas City Chiefs. Their Chiefs' running game was just, the Chargers' biggest enemy, and the Chargers cannot get down on third down. Alex Smith was just right on cue tonight. And, I give a lot of props over to the Kansas City Chiefs. I did, vent my frustration all over Twitter and on my Facebook account. I do get, a little bit venting because the San Diego Chargers are my passion. I hate to see my team lose. But you know what? Like I said, it happens in football. I would rather be, I'd rather be 5-2 than 2-3 or 1-4 because San Diego is, notorious for starting out very, very slow, to start the year. But this is a year where we've never really started, a season on a 5-game winning streak. So, but Kansas City really, took it to us. Their passing game was on cue. The Kansas City Chiefs did have a nice, hefty load of, just miscues. Junior Hemingway or AJ Jenkins at some point. I think it was in the second or third quarter. AJ Jenkins caught a ball on the side, near the sides, but he was able to, run up for a nice 14-yard gain, but he ends up, stepping out of bounds. Could have had a clear touchdown down the line, but he stepped out of bounds. It was just one of those mental mistakes that the Kansas City Chiefs had. And, their running game, I have to give so much props to their running game. Jamal Charles and Niall Davis, they just really took it to the San Diego Chargers. The Chargers really, had a completely different kind of defense today. They had a four lineman set on the defensive line tonight, and they really just, really abandoned the coverage for a little bit because, you got to cover what Kansas City has to throw to. Yes, they don't have guys like the Dexter McCluster, but Dwayne Bowe is still their legitimate target for them. You cannot let him go, unchallenged. When Brandon Flowers went out, everything started going downhill. San Diego started having to go deep inside their depth and try to look for someone that can really, match up to Brandon Flowers. He started to put on Marcus Gilchrist. Eric Weddle at times went up to coverage with him, but Marcus Gilchrist and Chris Davis, those guys can't, compete up to what Dwayne Bowe has been doing. So, Dwayne Bowe really won the matchup, had one of the best games that he has had over the past few weeks, and probably even going over the past year and a half. Dwayne Bowe has not done a whole lot for the Kansas City Chiefs as of late, and there was a lot of people are questioning that is he going to return following his contract. So, like I said, the Kansas City Chiefs, big up to them. They defeat the San Diego Chargers with a last-minute field goal by, remember this name, Cairo Santos. I think they said he was a Brazilian-born player. He played for Tulane. He was an undrafted free agent out of Tulane. I'm not too familiar with him. I first heard his name tonight, and he got the game-winning touchdown or the game-winning field goal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And when San Diego got the ball back, Phillip Rivers, sadly, he threw the interception, and that cost San Diego the game. I thought that Eddie Royal could have caught that ball when it was going downfield with about 15-16 seconds left in the game. But, needless to say, the Kansas City Chiefs pull out an upset, ending the Chargers' 5-game winning streak with the 23-20 victory over the San Diego Chargers. Very disappointing loss for San Diego as they were trying to avoid a 5-3 of possible win-loss situation for this upcoming week's Thursday Night Football matchup between the Denver Broncos. There's just so much that San Diego has to prepare for. Going into Denver, having to go up against guys like Julius Thomas, going up against guys like Demarius Thomas, Wes Welker. This wide receiving core in Denver is going to be the ultimate kryptonite, and it could destroy the San Diego Chargers secondary. They really got to be on tab. Remember, just last year, San Diego pulled off the upset over Denver on Thursday Night Football. So San Diego continues to have Peyton Manning's number just a little bit, Phillip Rivers in general as well. But can they defeat, the Denver Broncos, hot offense, which is just completely just destroying a lot of teams' secondaries? Look at tonight against the San Francisco 49ers. We saw a lot of success, and congratulations to Peyton Manning, overpassing Brett Favre's Favre's record as he gets 510 tonight out of the 509 touchdowns Brett Favre has. Peyton Manning broke it. He got his 510th touchdown tonight. So hats off to Peyton Manning. You know, Brett Favre, now you're number 2. You know, there's still a long road. Maybe he can hold on to number 2 for the next couple of years. There's a couple of guys still rising: Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. But you know, Brett Favre still holds that number 2. But you know, trying not to get off top the subject here. But San Diego versus Denver, Thursday night football. San Diego falls to the Kansas City Chiefs 23-20. They are now 5-2, 3-1 at home. Chargers will be on the road against Denver this coming Thursday on CBS Sports Network and on NFL Network. I'm Justin Godsey for Justin Godsey TV. I'll catch you guys next time.